We have full control over our vehicle now. It's not just driving off down the road, but now we have some weird stuff happening. So when we press the left arrow key, we slide to the left. And if we press the right arrow key, we slide to the right. To visualize again what we're trying to do, I'm going to go into my top-down view by clicking the green Y arrow in my scene view, and now I'm very high up in the sky. If I select my vehicle in my hierarchy and I press F while my mouse is hovering over the scene, we focus back into the vehicle. Now I'm actually going to select my rotate tool. So let's see what's changing actually when we click on this circle here. If we drag it to the left, you can see in the inspector underneath transform, the Y rotation is actually the thing that's moving. So that's probably what we'll want to change in our code. In our player controller class, we already have this bit of code here where we're moving left or right. Let's see, well, if we are using our vehicle's transform, then we'll need that transform component. Now let's see, luckily, because my IDE suggests different methods that I can use. Well, there's this one method called rotate, so it'll actually rotate it at an angle. Well, let's just see what it does. So if I click on the rotate method, and then I type an open parentheses, it suggests different things. So it wants a vector 3, Eulers, an axis, and a float angle. That one seems pretty useful. Well, we know that the axis is that y-axis, that vector 3 up. So actually, vector 3 dot up. And then it wants the angle. Well, we kind of already calculate an angle here because of our turn speed. Let's just see what it does. So if we select our time all the way down to our input and our vector 3 dot right translate, if we cut that out with Control or Command X, in our rotate method, after the comma, make sure to paste that entire line of code in there. We're going to put the semicolon to close that statement, and then we just delete our translate there for vector 3 right. Now if we save, we'll see if that works, if that was what we're looking for. Now when I press play, if we watch the vehicle in our game, as I drive forward, I'm turning left and I'm turning right ever so slowly, but I'm turning, so that looks pretty good. So what we'll actually do is, if we select our vehicle in the hierarchy, we'll turn the turn speed up to like 25. We'll see what happens. We're just testing anyways. Now we'll play again. There you go. Now it looks like our car is really driving down the road. That's awesome. Look at it go. Just driving all around, avoiding all those obstacles. One very cool thing to note. So, in fact, if I actually go in my scene view, and I'm going to keep play on here just so we can kind of see what's happening. So you can see in our game, as I move forward, it always knows what direction it's moving forward. Now, we've been moving all of our objects in our scene, if we select our move tool, based on the global position of things. So we're always doing it based on 0, 0. Our Z arrow will always go positive in the Z. Same thing with our X arrow and our Y arrow. But at the top left, next to all of our tools, you'll notice this button here that says global. In fact, if we actually click on global, we can set this to local. Now, let me get a better angle so you can kind of see what's happening. So as I turn the vehicle, make sure you have the game selected. As I turn the vehicle, you can see that the Z is changing, and it's always pointing in that forward direction. But then, if I switch this toggle back to global, you can see that the Z flips back to the positive Z direction of our world. So when you're trying to position things in your world, it's helpful to have that toggle set to global. But then when you're testing things, like if you want to make sure that your object is facing the right direction, you can toggle it to local, and then you can see which way your object is pointing while you're trying to interact with it. So that's very handy. Very helpful tip in case you ever need it. So what you're going to do is in your player controller script, down where you were transform.translating by vector3 right, you're going to create a new line of code underneath it, and we're actually going to use our rotate method on our transform component. We need the axis that we're going to rotate it around, which in this case is our up axis, and then we need the angle that we're going to turn it at, so we need to make sure that we're calculating it based on time instead of every frame. We just multiply by that turn speed, and then we multiply all of that by our horizontal input. And then when I save, back in Unity, you can select your vehicle, play around with the turn speed and the speed, so that way when you're pressing play and you're testing your game out, you can see how fast you're turning and how fast you're moving. And you can set it to whatever feels good to you. Now it's your turn.